Happy Christmas time. So, we're going to be working today on making a Christmas tree that you can add to our Christmas tree collection. We're looking at the collection from last year. As you're watching this video, keep in mind I am going 5 times as fast. It's an accelerated recording just so that you don't have to watch me fumble through everything. But I'm going to be talking about what I'm doing. So what I did just there was use the polygon tool to trace a Christmas tree shape, and then I'm using the star shape, and I'm going to use the polygon tool again to add a little bit of a texture to the star so it's a little bit more interesting and has a little bit more dimension. To select multiple objects, you want to hold shift and click on those so you can change them at the same time. I really am going fast here, 5 times the speed. So you do have a Christmas tree ball provided, and you can duplicate that by holding Control and D to make another one. And then when you click on a shape and then click on the shape within that shape, you can change its color. So that's how I'm going through one by one and choosing different values of the same color for each of the balls. So it's different varieties of yellow and green per ornament. And at this point, I'm deciding to make a candy cane. I'm using the curve tool and just tracing that shape around and then resizing it so it's close to the size that I want. Using the polygon tool to make these stripes. And once I made this one, I think I duplicated that shape using Control D just to save myself some work. And then I double clicked on the candy cane shape to be able to pull those nodes in so that it lines up pretty well. I then use the same trick of holding shift and clicking on shapes to change the color all at once so I didn't have to change all the stripes one at a time. And then I made them into a group and used the same duplicating trick so that I could spread a few of these candy canes around the tree. But the tree is still looking a little bit bare. So I think I decided to do some tinsel here, and I'm tracing out just a shape here with the polyline tool. I used the gradient to add some color to it, and then I'm just taking that chunk and duplicating it and distributing it around the tree. So that's the same shape, just kind of copy paste it, but again you can do Control D to do it a little bit more quickly. I'm using shift again to grab all these shapes and putting them into a group. That way I can adjust the layer and move them behind the ornaments in one move. Looking at my work, thinking some more. Need a trunk. That's pretty easy to do. And here I think is where I start thinking about doing a light bulb. Now think about that pause. That was me thinking about what to do next for probably 2 minutes. I'm using a gradient with a transparency here so that it goes from clear to color. I'm not quite happy with it yet. It just looks like maybe it's glass. But I go ahead and duplicate it, and I make different gradients based on the first gradient. So I just have to go in and change the color. Then I'm going to make a group out of those. Duplicate it, and then I've got a string of lights. And once I put them on, I'm not really happy with them. They just sort of blend in there and they don't look very impressive. So then I decided to make another gradient behind it that goes from white to clear, and that's going to give it a little effect that it might be glowing. And I'll make one for each bulb. So duplicate that. Put them behind the other ones. First they're going to go on front because you duplicate them. Then you hold shift and move that whole group back, and then group it with the lights, and now I've got a string of lighted lights, which looks much better. And even when you have a group, you can double click on an individual shape within that group to delete it or to alter it. You don't have to ungroup it. But if you do get stuck, you can ungroup a group so you can make changes and then maybe regroup it if that's what you need to do. And those lights made a really nice difference. That feels much more complete. Okay, so I've got a star, tinsel, lights, balls, and a candy cane. That's 5 different types of ornaments. Feeling pretty good about the final product. I did decide that I'd get rid of the borders because sometimes that just helps everything look a little bit cleaner. And now I'm deleting some of the instructions because we don't need those. There's a Christmas tree.